Let's do this.
Good Monday evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Lindy, and my co-host is Smurf Blue, otherwise known as Maxine Blue. I hope all of you have had a wonderful day. Um, as you know, we are going to be discussing the Rodney Reed case tonight, and it's been getting a lot of publicity lately. I'm going to give kind of a brief overview toward it, and then I'm going to let Maxine speak because she does have a lot more information than I do when it comes to this case. Let me get my other side chat pulled back up because I like running my side chat off my phone.
Yeah, so do I.
And give the room just a minute to populate as well. Hey, Lily, welcome. Hey, Four, welcome. Let's see. Hey, Wolf Dad, how are you? Ace Carson, how are you? Hope all of you have had a great day. Hey, Polly, welcome.
I like Polly.
Leanne, welcome. My sweet friend Leanne. Y'all should have seen the pictures that Leanne and I exchanged today. Hey, Tiffany, how are you?
Hi, Tiffany.
Oh, they were clean. They were clean pictures, but they were pictures of us with our hair in various disarrays. Hey, Amanda, welcome.
Hi, Amanda.
Second. I got to restart.
See, I've never even heard of that place in Texas.
Elgin. I think I have heard of that, but now a good friend of mine used to live in Pampa, Texas, which also I think is kind of small, but I would hear her talk about various, places around there because she had lived all over Texas before. Hey, Jackie, welcome. Oh, yeah, Leanne did it.
I'm like 5 hours from Texas, never been there.
20 minutes from actually where it happened. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I imagine it's been all over the news there. Hello, Liberty. Yes, Four. She is. She is. Are you just now figuring that out? You should have listened to me from day one, Four. Okay, yeah, I gave her a mod. Let me see if I missed modding anybody else here. Let me get Lily modded. Yes, where the murder happened, exactly. Yes, Sky, it will be left up. Absolutely, it will be. Yeah, I think everybody, I have not run across anybody that has said, no, I think he's guilty. I haven't run across anyone like that yet. He means VV, Jackie, not WVV. Hey, side chat, welcome. Well, Real Bugs, I don't know why you're in here because you've still been shit talking me, so bye-bye.
Hey, Amanda, I'm going to say the name so I don't butcher it when I start talking. Is it Bastrop, Texas? Yes or no? God, I hope I said that right.
Hope your husband's feeling better, side chat.
Ugh,
well, he has been there. He's still been trashing me. I don't know why he thinks he can come waltzing up in here.
Thank you, Amanda. When men are sick, it's like the end of the world.
I know.
So.
Thank you for stopping by, Sky. Yes, it will absolutely be left up. Okay, we'll go ahead and start with a little brief introduction. I'm not sure how many people will be around tonight. I know that there's some other drama stuff going on that a lot of people are interested in. So, as we said, this is regarding Rodney Reed, and he was arrested for the murder of Stacy Seitz, Texas native, born December 22nd, 1967. And I thought about that today because he's only about 8 months older than I am. So to think that he has spent all this time in prison is just mind-blowing to me. He was convicted of the rape and murder of Stacy Seitz and sentenced to death. Stacy was a white 19-year-old bride to be engaged to a local police officer, Jimmy Fennell. After she didn't show up at work on April 23rd, 1996, a search led to her body in a wooded area. She was strangled with her own belt, and tests confirmed DNA from an unknown male is found on her. A year later, police matched the DNA found on her to Rodney Reed, an American African male. Though he initially denied knowing her, he confessed during the trial that he and she were having an affair, which also you have to remember at that point in time that in
That
that
was a
small town,
no-no.
yes, everything was still racially motivated. And the only thing that I ask, everybody can have opinions, and I don't think that anybody I'm seeing in this side chat would do it anyway, but no dropping of the N word and things like that. It looks like we're probably going to have a smaller group tonight, and that's fine too. I have always said,
Thank you, Amanda.
Vegas made a comment last week about, oh, Lindy's so stupid. She said that crime isn't very popular. I never said that. I said crime is not very popular as necessarily in our community. The boy community, it's not necessarily, I'm not well known in crime communities for, people to really come over here yet, if it ever gets to that. And I'm good with that as long as people enjoy what we're talking about. I'm not about the number. This is very interesting to me, and it almost seems like set up from the beginning. I mean, an all-white jury. Can you imagine
And a
that?
batch testimonies.
Yes. Hey, Lake Shadow, welcome, welcome. Um, I do have some other notes over here. When it talks about the 10 facts that you need to know regarding him, so many things ended up being just so questionable, in my opinion. The murder weapon has never been tested for DNA evidence. Requests for DNA testing of crime scene evidence, including a belt that was used as the murder weapon, has been repeatedly denied by the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals. In 2018, the United States Supreme Court declined to directly review the Texas court's denial of DNA testing, and we will get back to that in a moment. Also, the state's 3 forensic experts have admitted on record to errors in their testimony, which led to Reed's conviction and death sentence. The 3 forensic experts from Reed's original trial have submitted affidavits that the original time of death is inaccurate, which makes the timeline for Reed killing Stites implausible. Then we have renowned forensic pathologist. The prosecution's only forensic evidence linking Reed to the crime was semen taking from her body, which was attributed to their consensual sexual relationship. The prosecution used this to connect him to the murder and refute that this consensual romantic relationship. But supporting testimony has since been recanted and completely discredits the state's case. Also, it says that all of the forensic pathologists have all concluded that Reed's guilt is medically and scientifically impossible. Go ahead.
Sorry. I want to add to that. When a man comes, I don't know how to put it technically, but when a man comes, there's many sperm released. When they tested her, there was only 3 sperm from Rodney Reed, which means he did not rape her or have sex with her in the period. I think it said the Innocence Project said in the period of 5 hours. It was longer than 5 hours that they had intercourse. So he did not rape her.
Right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Here it talks about the fact that since then it has been corroborated that they were in fact having a consensual relationship, even though she was a 19-year-old white girl, he was a black male, and she was engaged to a white police officer at this time. Oh no, Lake Shadow, I had that all weekend and I was in bed myself. You take care, Lake Shadow. Thank you for stopping by. So it was corroborated then. It says her own cousin and co-worker have said that they knew that the two of them were romantically involved. And then it says 4 months after the murder, Jimmy Fennell, who was her fiance and who also was a deputy, was the prime suspect in the case. A recording of one of the police investigations indicates that Fennell was suspected in the murder, motivated by her relationship with another man. Uh, Two witnesses have come forth in recent weeks and submitted signed affidavits that add to the mounting evidence. So there's a lot here. I'm not going to read every single thing because that will take up too much time from getting into the meat of it. I do want to say this, that as of today, 700,000 signatures have been signed on the petition, and I believe that all that they had needed originally was 100,000, right?
Yes, and my name is
And
on there.
mine is as well. And now they have 700,000. Kim Kardashian, Rihanna, Dr. Phil has had something to do in it. A lot of the stars are now trying to get involved to also put a stay on this. And now I'm going to turn it over to Maxine and let her talk and tell us what she knows about this case.
So I first want to say that I believe wholeheartedly. I've followed this case for years, and I believe wholeheartedly that he is an innocent man. Hopefully not be put to death for the murder of Stacy, which basically I'm rambling. Basically, he's a innocent man about to be put to death because of Jimmy Fennell.
Mm-hmm.
There was excuse me, there was water found in her lungs, which means somebody had drowned her before. And in Jimmy's truck, they tested the floor mats, and her body fluid was on it, meaning she had to have been laying on that floor. I heard in one report that there was beer cans found by Stacy's body with Jimmy and another man's DNA on it, but that was thrown out because Jimmy's a cop. There is testimony that I don't remember his name, but he gave Rodney an alibi because he and Rodney were together the whole night, sitting on the porch drinking until they had to go to work the next day. So back then, interracial in Texas was a no-no. You didn't do it.
Right.
And I believe they had all white jury because they wanted a conviction of somebody, and that's white and black really don't mix down in Texas in the 90s. I'm rambling because, this is a very passionate case for me.
Do you know why exactly? It says that the murder weapon was never tested for DNA, which I can kind of understand going back to 1996. But now, where it says that it's been repeatedly denied by the Texas courts, why is that?
I think they know they have in my opinion, I think they know they have an innocent man. And I think they know that Jimmy's DNA is on that, and they don't want to convict one of their own. But Jimmy back in 2007 was actually convicted and sent to prison for 10 years for a rape of a woman that he had in custody when he was a sheriff. I believe sheriff deputy. And because he's a cop,
which
and people don't
also shows a pattern of violence against women.
Yes. Oh, I never even thought of that. But he went to prison. In 2007, he went to a Arthur Snow Jr., who it was at that time, now his former, Aryan Brotherhood member, and wanted protection. And they worked out a deal of protection with the commissary. And to gain this Mr. Snow's trust, Jimmy says, yeah, my fiance is an end lover, so I had to kill her. And that's a sworn affidavit that this man, Arthur Snow, had sent into the Innocence Project.
Right.
To help Rodney. Rodney did when he was questioned at first, he did deny knowing her because he was scared. I would be scared too.
Yeah, he was absolutely scared.
So he was out for a year, and that's when they brought him into custody and charged him with murder after a year. Uh, Go ahead. Do you want to say something?
I was just putting his name in the side chat so that Sugar could see it because she said, "Is that the cop that went to jail?" Yes, and that's his
Yes.
name. Jimmy Fennell was his name. Amanda says, "Yep, water found in her lungs. I believe that an argument ensued the evening before she was determined to have died, which would have been April 22nd, 1996. An argument ensued. She's about to get in the shower. He drowns her, leaves her
Yes.
face down in the tub for a while, gets his neighbor cop to follow him to, is it Bowstrop? Meets up with the other
Bastrop.
cop friends, drops off the truck, stages the scene. He was a
Um,
cop before he went to jail. And yes, it was in
yes.
Texas.
Um, Also, Jimmy, he failed 2 polygraph tests,
Wow.
and he was the last to see her alive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
I mean,
after.
I know we can't go by what people look and everything, but his picture, he looks guilty as sin.
Yes.
I mean, he really does. I'm trying to see the date here when he was arrested.
Jimmy or
Yeah,
Rodney? All I know is 2007.
okay, so
Like,
it was so he was a cop when this happened, which was in 1996, and then this
yes.
happened in 2007. So probably 10 years after the fact, and probably he had done things like that before and just never been caught.
Oh, I'm sure.
Very true,
CNN.
Ace.
What did Ace say? I'm sorry. Texas
Texas is
games are
famous for
killing.
killing black
Yes,
folks.
absolutely.
Hey, Barbie, hope you're feeling okay.
Hi,
Everybody
Barbie.
sends good wishes to Barbie. She had surgery today. She had her old nasty gallbladder removed. Hey, RC, welcome. And anybody else that I might have missed. It's hard to see the whole side chat when you're looking down trying to read as well. Um,
Now, back in 2013, I believe it was 15. I'm sorry. CNN did do a death row story on him, which
mm-hmm.
jump started the Innocence Project taking him on. So he's been with the Innocence Project since 2015.
Hey, Debbie. I did see that I guess he had been sentenced, or he had first been going to be put to death in 2015, and then all this stuff started rolling. And I guess it's, just, been put off and put off and put off. I couldn't imagine you're living that way,
I can't
already.
imagine not knowing if you're gonna die that. You're gonna get your
Right.
death warrant.
And I mean, already did I speak to Debbie? This is how quickly I
Yes, you
forget
did.
things. Hey, Debbie. Gosh. Um, already, if you're sitting in jail for something that you didn't do, and it's been 23 years now, so I think it said 21 since he had been sentenced because he was free for that year before that he was arrested. Then you've had, all these times when you've been supposed to be put to death and then it's stayed and, so on and so forth. I don't know how they can get away with and I would say this for any state, how they can get away continuing denying for the DNA to be tested. I mean, that's just horrible.
Jimmy Finale
Horrible.
a is now an ordained minister. So sickening. That's what Amanda said.
Mm.
Oh wow, I did not know that. Um,
Hey, Tammy.
the governor Greg Abbott, I hear he's very fair. He's very logical. So basically, I know Rodney because he's again one of my pen pals. We're all crossing our fingers and toes and legs that um the governor gives him clemency and sees his whole case through as he's an innocent man. So we're down to the
Now,
wire.
I saw one of the pictures that was, of him, and it looked like he was holding up pictures of smaller children. Does he have children of his own?
Not that I know of. Not that
Okay.
I know of.
Because I
Um,
tried to look that up and I couldn't, I couldn't find anything.
what did Amanda say? also be a ton of skeletons. She says to take Jimmy down, it will also be a ton of skeletons to bring out. Absolutely, I'm sure he's done more than just murder and rape. I'm sure there's more out there that he's done that they have not quote unquote solved.
Hello, Lawless. I'm not saying your name right. I'm sure I'm butchering it. I'm sorry. How would you think that was pronounced? Loiis.
Lawless, maybe? I thought so.
I'm not sure. That's what I said as well. Um, yeah, I don't see anything where it talks about him having children. What I was thinking about was he was almost 30 years old by the time that
Yeah.
this had happened, so it would not have been, impossible for him to have already had children. In several of the pictures that they were putting up, he was holding pictures of, okay, noise, but an L, Lois.
Lois? Jimmy has 2 daughters.
Okay, so maybe that's the pic. Oh, no, Jimmy. Oh, never mind. We don't care about his kids. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I mean, that's got to be horrible on his own kids, too. Okay, I had an aunt, Lois. So is that what you're saying, like Lois, Lois? Okay, good, good, good. The double I was throwing me off there. Hey, weirdo, welcome. Sykes' cousin gave an interview with a Austin station claiming she always believed that Fennel was the killer, not Reed. Wow. Wow.
And that speaks volumes, being that, again, it's Texas in the 90s, and not many were okay with the interracial thing. For Stacy's family to back Reed up, that speaks volumes. And I know
Mm-hmm.
they have lobbied for him, and nothing's moving in this case, and that's a sad thing. That's a very sad thing.
It looks like it says that Kim Kardashian has been working on it since October the 18th.
Of this year?
Yeah. She had just watched the movie that it was about. Let me get off Top Chat.
I hate that.
Hey, Dragon, welcome. I hope you got my reply back yesterday. Let's see. Kathy says there's a strong presumption.
What'd she say?
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Did you, Tiffany? I did too. The funny part was I couldn't pronounce Lois when I was a kid, so I called her my Aunt Lois, and I called myself Win. And when I finally learned how to say my L's properly, she cried. She was like, she's not going to call me Lois anymore. So I don't know that Dr. Phil's necessarily involved in this, but he did do okay. I knew that he did do a show on it.
Last Wednesday he did post a live stream on Facebook stating in the upcoming days he will sit down with the governor without cameras, without media, and speak to him about this case, and
Awesome.
give him the facts of why Rodney Reed is innocent. He is pathologist. No, I think I'm saying that wrong, but he studies crime scenes and people. That's what his job was actually before he come to be a talk show host. So he firmly believes by Rodney Reed's mannerisms that he's an innocent man.
It says here that on Saturday, November the 9th, there's going to be a statewide rally at the governor's mansion in Austin, Texas. We need as many folks as possible to attend. The speakers will be, and I thought this was interesting, Roderick Reed, which is his brother, Sandra Reed, his mother, Mark Clements. Now, get this, a former juvenile life without parole prisoner from Illinois. There's one that's already been released because of something. I can't pronounce this lady or man's name. It's Shujaa Graham, exonerated death row prisoner from California. Juan Menendez, exonerated death row prisoner from Florida. Then so on and so forth. Nation of Islam people, congressional candidates, retired New York police department detectives, and so on and so forth. But at least three people that have been exonerated in various states will be speaking at that.
I do not drink, but the day he is exonerated, I will have a drink. I mean, all everything points to Fennell,
Mm-hmm.
but they won't incarcerate. They will not get him because he was one of them. That's how I
Now,
feel.
I know you have said a lot of times with your pen pals that they don't like to discuss, heavy stuff or
They
whatever.
don't
So,
like to discuss their cases, yeah.
has that been the same for this gentleman, or has it been different with him?
No, we talk a little. He tells me how he was with a friend the night of her murder. They were sitting
Mm-hmm.
on the porch drinking all night. The only time he and the friend were not together is when he went into the house to use the restroom and check the time because they had to go to work at 4 a.m.
Right,
4 a.m. Excuse me. Um, he talks about what he's gonna do when he gets out, how he can't wait to hug his mother because in Texas you're not allowed to touch, so you're behind a glass speaking on the
right,
phone. So
yeah,
he can't wait for things like this, and he has actually told me he's heartbroken because Stacy was the love of his life, and
right,
because of him she died, meaning because he was not the same color as her, she died. Um, I
right.
often wonder, I often wonder if Rodney was a white man, would Jimmy still kill her? You know what I mean?
Well, it sounds like he had some anger issues, so I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't
Yeah.
doubt it if he did. Um, it's just definitely if he had an anger issue with women, because we know that rape really is not a sexual crime; it's a violent
A
crime.
dominant thing,
Uh,
yes.
um, thanks,
I
Felicia. I appreciate that.
I know they met. Rodney and her met because she worked at a grocery store, and that's how
Hmm.
they met. And Jimmy would come in a few times and see them speaking with each other in a flirtatious way, and he did confront her from what I read, and she denied having an affair with him. One of her coworkers were sitting in the break room with her like a few days before she had passed and says, "Are you excited to be getting married?" And she says, "Not really, because I don't love him." And that's when the coworker found out about Rodney, and the coworker says, "You need to be careful. This is Bastrop in the 90s.
Right.
You can't be doing stuff like that."
Amanda, if you would like to come on panel, you are certainly welcome to. Just let me know. I know some people prefer
Oh, okay,
staying
Amanda,
in
I'm sorry.
I know some
Yes,
people prefer staying in the side, but if you would like to come up and discuss it, you are more than welcome. We have an open panel. Um, yes, there is
yes.
DNA, but they will not test it. And it's been refused several times. And that's the part I can't understand. There needs to be new laws in place regarding that in every state.
Now,
Uh,
Amanda, do you know if that pool hall is still around?
do you know? Barbie had a question. Is it only for convicted murderers you aren't allowed to touch? I think it is, isn't it?
It's some states are different. When I go to Angola, I can touch. Um,
Right,
you sit in this big room. It looks like a cafeteria because you're able to buy hot meals. I
right.
think it's just Texas, and I don't know about California. I believe California you can't touch either. But it's not
Well,
just for murderers, it's for everybody.
I actually met a woman through Web Sleuths, and we were discussing a case, and that's how our friendship was built and everything. And she ended up going to prison. She's in prison right now for some kind of white collar crime, but she's keeping a blog going while she's there. Obviously, somebody else is writing it for her, but I'll read it occasionally.
Is it good? Is
Can you hear me now? Oh, so Sugar, can you hear me now? Yeah, my internet dropped is what happened. I wasn't paying attention to my laptop, and I was like, "Oh wow, I got dropped." Yeah, I am back. Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. Welcome, Truth Teller. So glad to see you here. Yeah, and anybody else that if you want to come on and discuss it, just let us know. And because we have an open panel. Last week we had a guest that was on that was very well versed in the Darlie Roudier case, as is Maxine as well.
Oh, there we go. I don't know what happened.
Yep, there you go. So did it drop you when it dropped me?
I did not hear anything. That's all. That's the only
Oh,
thing.
okay. Okay. Because I apparently my internet went down, is what happened for a second. My internet went down.
Oh, maybe that was
So,
the
what do
problem.
you feel the chances are that there's going to be a good outcome over this?
I want to say I have big hopes, but I don't.
Right.
I hope I'm wrong, but I don't. I mean, they have put to death innocent people before, and I don't think they're
Right.
afraid to do it again. Um,
Do you
it's
think that he seems very hopeful?
he does. He has good spirits. He's great.
Good.
He's set with the Lord, and he has very strong beliefs. So he's high hoped. I mean, it's just nerve wracking because it's like what, the 4th of November, so we
Exactly.
don't
And time
have too
flies by
many.
so quickly.
Yeah, we don't have too many days left.
Amanda, all you have to do is click the link that I put right there. Uh, I agree, Weirdo. It probably would be the 11th hour. It probably would be. Hey, Brazilian, welcome. Oh, doing the laundry and clothes. I got to do that too. That'll probably get done tomorrow, but
I'm hoping for the best because all the publicity this case is getting, but I'm stressed as if I know him that he will die. Amanda, I'm right there with you. We are down to the
yes, truth
wire.
teller, it is. That is the case. And I guess that's the way it is in a lot of cases where um, things do happen at the 11th hour. But gosh, see, it says
I can't.
here, uh, I guess as of November the 9th, it will be 11 days until execution.
Now I do watch. It's called the Prison Show, and
Mm-hmm.
when they have executions in Texas, they will stream from there. They're behind a barrier. They're not allowed to get close to the prison in Huntsville, and
Right.
they protest the execution for that day. And there, for this case, there's going to be a huge turnout.
I don't think I've ever heard of before a case where there's been 700,000 signatures on a petition. I don't believe I've ever heard that before.
Centoya Brown's petition didn't even get that much
Right.
for her clemency. It's very stressful. It is, and I have to agree with Amanda. I'm staying hopeful, but I'm very scared. Um,
Now, does anybody know when this gentleman, when this lady died and they had her funeral and everything, did this Jimmy go and was the grieving fiance and everything like that at the funeral?
that part I don't know. I have never read anything about that. I did not read anything about it. I'm just praying that he gets a fair trial. Amanda, we all are.
Mm-hmm.
We all are. She died. Yeah, she did. April 23rd of 96.
It says here, many years after Sight's tragic death, Fennel, which was her fiance, would be convicted for the kidnapping and sexual assault of a woman in his custody in
Yes.
2007. He served his sentence and was released in 2018.
So
So
he did
I
11
wonder if they
years.
tried to cover that up and just, weren't able to.
The dummy probably raped her on camera. That's the stupid. That's the silly part on him.
Oh, wow. Damian Williams says, no grieving. She wore her wedding dress.
Oh wow, I
We
did not
don't
know that.
know. We do not know yet, Anthony. They are asking for clemency. They're trying to do a lot of things to get this execution stopped, but as of right now, it has not. I would encourage anyone, I'm sure if you do a Google search, if I can find the link, I will post it here, to
You can
go
go to
ahead
the
and
Innocent Project website and it's on there.
to sign the petition.
Yes.
Okay, great. Because even though they've surpassed what they originally wanted, um, all the signatures will help, I'm sure. Amanda says, yes, she was married in her wedding dress. So creepy when she didn't want to get married. Absolutely. I wonder if her parents had any idea that she didn't want to marry him.
I was wondering that too. I also wonder if her parents liked Jimmy.
Yeah.
I wonder that, like, how was his demeanor? And was he possessive? Well, of course he was possessive, but did he beat on her prior to this? Was he a woman
Well,
beater?
something was going on for her to, um, been looking at somebody else anyway.
Yeah,
Let me see
you're
if I can
right.
find a link for this here. Mm.
Yeah, Anthony. If you go on to Dr. Phil on YouTube, you'll find his case. Because Dr. Phil did one on him 2 weeks ago. Did a story on him 2 weeks ago, maybe.
And then there's also, I guess this the movie name, A Plea for Justice? Was that the name of the movie?
Yes, I believe so. She says yes. Her mom's journal stated that she was wanting to tell Stacy to think twice about the wedding, something like that. That's what
Mm.
Amanda said.
Do you know, was the whole thing there or just part of it? Let's
Um,
see.
I'm sure it's a two-parter because it was on TV as a two-parter. Dr. Phil even had Jimmy Fennell's lawyer on, just to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to state that all the evidence points to Rodney based on having Rodney's sperm in her.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the full episode for Dr. Phil. I just see the clips like what Barbie does. But like I always do after I get off of here, I will put any, links that I think would be beneficial to look at. I will put that in the description. It looks
You're right,
like there's
Amanda.
tons of stuff. It looks like there's tons of stuff on this case for sure.
It's a high-profile case.
Oops. Let me get my sound off there. Has it always been, or just in the last few years, has it become a high profile?
The high profile basically started when they did the CNN death row story,
Okay.
and that's when everything was being brought to light.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And also another thing to remember is if he were to be exonerated, then they would have a hefty amount of money that they would have to pay to him. Isn't that how that usually works?
that's what I always thought, but I know the West Memphis 3 did not take any money because they stated if they took the money, filed for the money, they would have to sit in prison longer. Because who wants to pay that money to
Well, with
somebody?
the West Memphis 3, it was a Alfred plea. They were
Yeah,
not exonerated. They just pleaded that yes, there was enough evidence there to convict them, but that they were not admitting any guilt. But I'm talking about in cases where, thank you very much, Anthony. I'm talking about in cases where, someone is exonerated, like if the DNA come through and he's exonerated, I believe that they get a settlement, usually a pretty large settlement at that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. She says Ed Samalia maybe was the initial investigator for Stacy's murder, and a few months later he ended up dead by suicide. Suicide my butt. Wow. Wow.
Oh, I did not know that. Judges and
Five's
DA should be.
mother and sisters disown family members who spoke out about Reed being innocent. Well,
Oh,
I wonder how recent that was, because you could kind of see that maybe in the beginning, especially, I can't imagine going through something, exactly like that, but you have all these emotions and feelings and everything. I guess I can kind of see that as well. Wait a
I
minute.
wonder. What?
Polly says the judge is dead now. He had Alzheimer's during the case and died of it.
Oh, another one. I wonder if it's the same judge. I never looked that up.
That's what I was about to say. Let me look and see.
Amanda, if
How
you'd
are
like
they
to come up
allowing
here,
these
go ahead.
judges to do this?
I I don't know. I have no words. I wonder if it was the same. Now it got me thinking. Because
I'm looking
this case
now.
wasn't too far apart from Darley's.
Exactly. Um,
Not cool. No, it's not, Lois. Polly says, Lindy, he put in for retirement, knew he had Alzheimer's, and this was his last case.
wow. Do you happen to know his name, Polly? Absolutely, sugar. That's the same thing that went on in that Darley case, is that the judge had Alzheimer's.
Amanda says, I'm not sure how true that is about the judge. I've never heard that.
Can you answer Tiffany's question? I'm just continuing to try to find out what this judge's name was. She's wanting to.
Basically,
Okay, you go.
Tiffany, they tied him to the murder because 3 sperms were found found in Stacy, and when they interviewed him the first time, he had stated he didn't know her. I kind of would too, because I would be scared, which I'm sure he was scared. That's why he lied.
Sailor. He's playing right now. If it's loud, y'all just have to excuse the rattling in the back. He's getting his playtime on. I'm not finding here who the judge
Can't recall
was.
his name. I'm sorry. It was in the documentary from the Innocence Project. Polly says, I can't recall the name. I'm sorry. It was in a documentary from the Innocence Project.
Oh, don't apologize. Thank you for giving us that information. I had not seen that.
Sailor, let's not get mine crying. He denied in the
Sailor.
beginning knowing Stacy because he was afraid that they would pin the murder on him, and well, they did anyways. That's absolutely right, Amanda. That's right. Can you imagine, like, him with like Darley. When he went in, there was no text messages, no smartphones, no
You know what I
computers
was
to start
thinking
the day.
about is when I saw that about that Kim Kardashian, is doing whatever. Um, he doesn't even know who Kim Kardashian is.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, that was all well before any of this. I mean,
I'm sure
uh,
he doesn't know most of those celebrities, like Meek Mill.
yeah,
I guess he's a rapper from Philly. Rihanna. None of them were big when he was out.
I remember reading about Damien. Is it Damien Eccles? How everything was so strange, to him for a very long time. Very, very long time. Well, I'm not saying that, but that's going to be a good question that I'm going to have to get to because
You're right, Damon.
I am not seeing who the judge was. Sadler, if you don't quit knocking on my chair, he's
Well, we'll
got.
just. He wants Mama.
He keeps pushing on my chair. Pop, 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 pop,
No,
pop.
Damon. He has not had. You're right. He has not had TV. On death row in Texas, all you are allowed to have is a radio, no TV.
Wow.
Now, you know what? I've heard that, but you know what? I have a friend on Texas death row. No, maybe he don't have a TV. I'm sorry. That's another person. Whoopsie. All you're allowed to
So,
have on death row is a radio. So
so he's locked down basically 23 hours a day, right?
yeah, yes.
Okay, here we go. It says,
The Innocence
Rita,
Project. Go ahead.
it says, they're waiting on a decision from County Judge Reva Towsley Corpet, the daughter of the judge who presided over Reed's original trial and conviction on new evidence. So that's kind of odd. So let me look up and see who it says her father is. I mean, my goodness, when you find out that you've got that, you should automatically have to step down.
Because he basically ruined somebody's life, just like in
Mm-hmm.
Darley's case. Um, and who said the truth? I think the Innocence Project picked him up after the 2015 CNN documentary Death Row Stories. That's why the Innocence Project picked him up.
No, I guess she's not locked like her father wasn't, because this thing says like uh like daughter, like father. Hmm. I'm not seeing his name, but it would have had to have been somebody different. Um,
Yeah.
because her name is, completely different. But that's just very, very interesting. Very interesting. All right, let me get back to my comments here.
True.
Hey, Sandy, welcome. Hi, Everly, welcome. Oh, goodness, Everly. Are you familiar with this case at all then, living so close? I imagine it's getting a lot of attention around there.
At first. Oh, you live close to Huntsville.
So, Maxine, how long have you been a pen pal for him?
2 years.
Okay, 2 years. We're
2 years.
discussing the Rodney Reed case, is who we're discussing this evening. So back when you first started writing to him, was he still hopeful, or did he say at that point in time that
No, he
thank you
was
so
he
much
was
for being here, Amanda. I really appreciated your input. Thank you so
Good night,
much.
Amanda. Thank you. He was. I actually started out with me seeing the documentary and wanting to just reach out and give him a card, and I sent him a card with I can't even remember the Bible verse. It's for strength,
Mhm.
and that's how we started off. Um, I don't even know how to explain this. Uh, we really don't talk about his case, like any of my pen pals. We don't speak about their case. They want to know just about the outside world.
Right.
I remember one letter. I said something and I put LOL in parentheses, and he wrote back asking what LOL was, and
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
that hit me like, well, why doesn't he know it? And then I remembered, he's been in death row since '97, so um they didn't shorten phrases, words, nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if you were in here when I first read this or not, Polly, but let's see where it said that about the forensic. Um, it says renowned forensic pathologist, and it listed several of them, including that one that you mentioned, have all concluded that Reed's guilt is medically and scientifically impossible. Um, that's a pretty heavy statement right there. A pretty heavy statement.
I
Um,
believe there's that stated three forensics testing men who stated that it is physically impossible for him to have done this.
well, I know that there was some talk about, and maybe this was during the trial, that the DA had spoken and said that he was a serial rapist. Do you know anything about that?
I know he had a case before of rape. A few 90, excuse me, I believe it was in '93. He had a rape case. He did some time in prison and got out, and that's basically when he met Stacy, like right after he got out of prison.
So, had he actually raped a girl at that point in time, or
Yes, I believe so.
wow?
I could be wrong. Why do I feel like it was he was wrongly convicted of that? I'd have to look that up again. Um, but he did some time for that. Even his family warned him to stay away from Stacy because of the color difference, and he
Right.
just didn't listen.
Do you know the girl that he was convicted of raping? If she was a white or black girl?
No, it doesn't state that anywhere that at
Mm,
least I could
gotcha.
find. Oh, a Mad X. Damon, I believe you're right. Damien, I'm sorry. I believe he's right. It was a Mad X who lied on him. Who was a cop? Yeah, her fiance Damien was a cop. Um, who I don't know. I'd be curious to know how he found out about, like, for sure that they were sleeping together.
Right.
He's a great man. He's very nice, very polite. It's always
How did
yes,
you
ma'am. No.
exactly? Did you hear about his case and then decide to write him that way, or?
Yeah, I'm a documentary junkie, so I watched his documentary on YouTube, and then I
Mm-hmm.
looked up his inmate number, and I knew like where he was because I have other pen pals on death row in Livingston. So I sent him a
Right.
card. That's all I did. I sent him a card stating I believe in his innocence, and then I'm praying for him.
Right.
That's how it started for me. That's how it started for me with Glenn Rogers too. So
Yeah, I guess I have followed so many of these cases, but really have never thought about doing the pen pal thing. That's had to be very interesting for you.
it is because I'm a person who wants to know why. I'm
Hmm.
the person who wants to know why or how you got to that place. And it's very
Right,
interesting what they say. I have stipulations. I don't take anybody who killed a child. Um, when I send pictures, I'm not alone in the pictures. And the pictures are basically just of like my animals, stuff around town, me and my husband, because they enjoy pictures. That's
right.
their connection to the outside world.
How much, like in his case, how much can they, like keep, uh, in their cell or whatever?
If I'm correct, 5 books and a dozen pictures,
Oh, wow.
plus their writing stuff and their commissary. It's all kept in a it would be like a Rubbermaid tote, but it's made of steel.
Right.
It's all they can keep.
Um, are you allowed to well, I don't guess you can probably still send them stamps or anything like that either,
No,
can you?
no, you can't do none of that. The cards cannot have glitter on it, nothing scented, no stickers. Trying to think what else. You know how women kiss the paper? No kissing the
Right.
paper, which I would never kiss the paper, but
Right.
um, you can't give them extra paper. Just stuff like that because people put dip stickers in embalming fluid and you suck on it and you get high.
Damien says he never did any time for rape. That's good to know. I've heard people talk about that before, and that just blows my mind. I would have no idea anything about sending. They used to say that they would put stuff under the stamps and all. That's crazy to me.
I know they check postcards too because people have to have very much patience to peel it apart. But if you peel it apart, you can iron drugs in the middle of it and send it that
Mm,
way.
goodness.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
baby, we hear you.
he's saying, "Give me a friend, Mama." That's what
I was
he's
trying to see
saying.
here if it did say anything about a previous conviction because they were appalled that that the DA had been able to say that because they did not feel that. See, now let's see what this says right here about a 12-year-old. Give me 1 second here.
Leanne, sometimes I have that problem. I remember Leanne um spilling my soda on a piece of paper and actually saving the piece of paper and not thinking and just folding it up, putting it in the envelope and sending it out. And a few days later, I ended up getting it back because they stated a unknown substance was on it. So I had to rewrite that whole letter. And it drives me nuts when they put their stamp in the middle of the letter. Sorry, I'm rambling.
You mean where it blocks what you're saying to them?
What it says, yeah, they'll stamp in the middle of the letter like Pelican Bay will stamp it saying read by Pelican Bay officer. They read everything. California does it. That's really and Rayford, I believe, does it too in Florida.
Now, this is just things that I'm reading right here, and it very well could just be hogwash. But it says here that while Rodney was out on, I guess, bail when he was arrested, um, it's this person here is Michael Coracon. Cor Maybe it's Cochran, but it's spelled a very different way for Cochran than I've ever seen. But it says that DNA evidence should show that Reed was out on bail in the Wichita Falls case. He beat and raped and sodomized a 12-year-old Bostrup girl. The DNA testing from the site's rape would tie him to that case, which never went to trial because Reed was sent to death row. Well, there was no DNA on his case.
Yeah.
I think these are people that were just trying to project those things, and there was no, nothing to back any of this up at all. Probably something maybe set up by people trying to make this Jimmy Fennell not look like he was
trash.
Yeah. This is interesting and very, very nice for a company. It says here that when she went missing, the Stacy site, she worked at HEB, which I know is a very popular grocery store in Texas, and they offered a $50,000 reward for information. That's a lot of money for 1996. You don't really see companies doing that now, that type of thing now. That's crazy, Everly. I would not even think about that.
Sorry, what did she say? Red Freckle. I don't remember his alibi, but they do know that Jimmy was the last person to see her alive. They were together in their apartment. And like I said earlier, she did have water in her lungs, which means a drowning. She was not found around the water. And the truck she was driving was actually found in a high school parking lot.
Everly, that's where I was just reading that link that I just posted there. I'm not sure what that is, if that's just like, a site set up to place doubt in people's minds type of a thing, or if it's actually a, legitimate site there. Because there's just so much. I mean, this is kind of like that Darley case. You don't have to dig for information on this case. I mean, there's more information on this case than you could ever cover unless you were doing, weeks on this, because there's just so much out there. Apparently, it was an alleged rape in 1995. So there was no proof to anything there.
She left at 3 a.m., but experts say she was dead before that. You're exactly right, Damien. Fennell always maintains that she left at 3 a.m. to go to work. I don't believe that was a 24-hour grocery store, so what is she doing, quote unquote, leaving at 3 a.m. unless she had a big commute?
Well, don't they do stockings and things, stocking of shelves during that time?
They could have. You're right. She was a cashier, I know that. So she could have done stocking at night.
You're talking like me now.
Yes.
I've got an excuse. I'm 51. I'm menopausal. I've got an excuse to talk this way. You're a youngster. I'm just going to put my bad stuff off on you. I don't know that I've ever really seen another case where there's been so many things out there, free Rodney Reed. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there.
Oh, so Everly, that store is still around? Oh, I didn't know that store was still around. She was supposed to be at work by 4 a.m. I wonder how long her commute was. If between 3 and 4 she would get there on time. either which way, Jimmy's a liar. Jimmy did it, and he's okay with an innocent man taking the fall for it, and that's very scary.
Oh, I'm sure there's been a lot of people like that through the years, quite a lot of people. I mean, it looks like ever since he was convicted that there's been huge questions about this case. I mean, nobody evidently must have felt like it was a slam dunk with this case, except the people that, of course, were trying to cover it up. Um, they certainly didn't want it to. It had to be a huge blow to them when this Jimmy Fennell went to prison for, what was it, 10, 11 years, just getting out last year. I mean, that had to be a huge blow to whoever was trying to do this cover up like that.
Well, I just hope it comes out one day, and I hope that Rodney is not put to death.
I know. That's a. I imagine he's not getting much sleep right now. His family's not getting much sleep right now. People that are working on this case are not getting much sleep right now. I mean, it's a very heartbreaking thing. Yes, Everly, it's November 20th, so it's bearing down on the time.
If I was on death watch, I wouldn't be able to eat, sleep, nothing.
Mm-mm.
I would be terrified.
Which, they may have him on some medications or something because of that. I don't know. I don't know how you wrap your mind around. Well, I don't know how you wrap your mind around a life sentence. I mean, like in that Chris Watts case, the only thing that I could keep thinking about was he's 33 years old and he's never going to see the light of day again. I mean, how do you wrap your head around that? I couldn't imagine it at my age, So it's definitely something that we will continue to follow and follow up with as new information comes available.
Yes.
She says they do not medicate them for their nerves. Oh, okay. Wow.
We just gotta sit and hope and pray.
If you are praying people, I would say that this man probably could definitely use some prayers. If you have not signed the petition that is on the Innocence Project, the link was put up here. Let's see, where was it? If not, maybe I can post it again. Every signature is going to help, obviously. I think what I had read was they initially wanted 100,000, and when we came on tonight, it was up to 700,000 at that point in time. Hopefully, I hate to say it when I was talking to my husband about it when he came home, and he was like, "Well, what's that Kim Kardashian got to do with it?" And I was like, "Well, she's done some good, in some other cases. So, whatever it is that she's got that she's done that's helped some of these others, if it's got a Kardashian name in it, he's not going to read it in the news or anywhere else." So he was like,
I sent her a tweet a couple weeks ago. I think I'm going to send her another one.
Yeah, I think that she may have posted one today, maybe. I don't know. I've read so many. I follow now since, we knew that we were going to discuss it. I follow so many of the different ones that, are about this case and everything. I don't know, and this probably happens to you too, but since I've been following the things on Rodney Reed and Darlie Routier and whatever, I've been getting a lot of follows from other, people, that they're proclaiming as innocent and everything. Most of those I have not heard of, but, definitely some that I will look into for further, further discussion here. I guess if we don't have really anything else, we're going to wrap it up. My internet kind of seems to be going in and out, so I hate that. I'm afraid I'm going to lose my connection again. But I would like to thank all of you for being here. I would like to
Yes,
thank
thank
my
you very
lovely co-host,
much.
Maxine.
Thank you for
We have not
having me.
decided who we will be discussing next week, but it will be announced on my Twitter. And I will probably put something up here as well, letting everyone know who we're going to be discussing. And like I said, we will continue updating cases that we have already discussed, like the Darlie Roudier case, if anything new comes on, and certainly on this case. And hopefully, prayerfully, there will be some good news on this case. I
Yeah,
know
I'm.
he doesn't watch any of that. Well, I don't really watch it either. I did years ago, but I don't now. But thank you for sticking here with us. We're kind of getting into our groove. This is our third week now, and it always takes time getting a groove. And I've been learning a
Yes.
new software here for Hangouts and everything. So we appreciate you hanging there with us while we've had kind of a learning curve. Again, if anybody has any cases that they would like to suggest, you can DM me on Twitter. You can find me there on Lindy Zoloft, or you can email me at lindyzoloft@gmail.com. No, excuse me. Yes, Gmail. lindyzoloft@gmail.com. I'm telling you, I'm losing it. I'm losing it, people. They're really going to be calling me Lindy now because I'm losing it. So thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you
And
guys.
we will talk soon, guys. Bye
See
bye.
you later, guys. Bye, Lindy.
Bye.